Well, ultimately for any organisation, the performance of the members of that organisation is the critical thing. So their ability to perform a task correctly, or at least optimally, to be able to perform that task when it needs to be performed is critical. Now they need to have learning enabled to do that, and learning is not to diminish the importance of that learning, but the performance is really what it's all about. It's not like a binary decision between learning versus performance. You need to have learning in order to be able to perform particular tasks. But I think, by and large, I think of performance as being more measurable, more concrete, and more immediate. Performance is an outcome of learning, because obviously you need to have the required knowledge and know to be able to perform the task. But one of the things we look at with performance is you need other things besides the knowledge. You need, for instance, the context. There's lots of situations where people have the learning, but they don't recognise the situation in which they need to apply it. We're always very big on that. Would I be able to recognise the situation in which I should apply this knowledge? And then if I can't actually pull it out of my head, which I may well not be able to in today's complex world, would I know where to get it quickly? Performance support really simply means that we provide the information or the knowledge to the learner at the moment that they most need it, putting the knowledge close to the point of need, as opposed to in a traditional model where the learning might be presented in a PowerPoint at induction, and then 9 months later I suddenly face that, say, safety situation, and I'm trying to conjure up what I need to do to be able to respond to it. Whereas if there's a performance support tool where that knowledge is available to me right now, whether that's through the software system I'm using or whatever it might be, then that's where that knowledge is going to be most useful. So informal learning versus formal learning is a really interesting area. I mean, most people refer to the 70-20-10 rule, saying that we learn 70% of it. 70% of what we learn informally from our peers, from our colleagues, from stuff we pick up on the net. 20% we pick up in, I guess, a more formal mentoring, person to person, and the last 10% is what's actually delivered to us in a structured learning module. And yet, if we look at the way most of our learning organisations work, we'd probably say we put 90% of our effort into that last 10%. There's lots of research around really whether that 70-20-10 is correct and really what to do about it. But fundamentally, from our point of view, it also draws us back to that performance support idea that if I don't have access in the modern world to some of that 70%, as an organisation I don't really know what's going on in that 70%. It's almost an obligation, I think, on organisations to get a bit better of an understanding about unstructured or informal learning, since that's where obviously the majority of our staff are actually being trained. If somebody's relying on 70% informal learning to perform operationally specific tasks that aren't being supported by performance support tools, weren't really well supported in training material that was actually delivered, then you've got to be really sure that the people who are delivering that 70%, in other words, the peers and so forth, are qualified and prepared to do so. Again, in a geographically diverse organisation, people time shifting, people teleworking, how does that 70% actually happen? My feeling is that it doesn't, person to person, as much as it used to, but the social media alternative to it is gradually creeping in. My feeling about it overall is that that's a huge impact on the way our learners are learning, and I don't think we know enough about it.